Good morning. Good morning, everyone, to this Monday morning staff meeting for Cowles County Board of Commissioners. We will start off with a review of HR issues, followed by a review of risk management, then a budget overview, and an update on corrections, wrapping up with information technology reports. So, Jessica, why don't you go ahead and begin?
Good morning, Commissioners. Jessica Warren, Human Resources. I have a very short list this morning because I'm still catching up from being gone last week. So my only request is to start the senior community planner in building and planning at step 5 with 2 weeks vacation. And this had been workshopped last week.
That's right. We didn't have any problem with that, did we? No. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And that's all I have.
All right,
Thank you.
great. Good morning, Victoria.
Good morning, Commissioners. Victoria Blozel, Risk and Safety Manager. So just some updates on training. On February 23rd, I had a in-person first aid, CPR, AED, 2 classes scheduled. I had 35 employees sign up.
Wow.
Majority of them canceled or did not show up. That was the snowstorm
right.
day.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So a lot of people didn't show up, but we had 12 that did. So that's all right. But I have had some requests for an easier process for those classes. It's hard for employees to travel here sometimes, spend half the day here, a little more flexibility. Some of those requests have come from Public Works, specifically the landfill. It's very hard for them to come all this way and have with their varying shifts. So I've been looking at online options. I looked at multiple vendors. I did find one that I do like, and they'll work with our new NeoGov platform. So employees can just take the training right through NeoGov and test, and then they'll send a certificate for their first aid training. It also has an option for a skills test, and we would just be an investment into like the dummy and the AED supplies. So I'll look further into that, but I will be hopefully getting them connected with us. What's really great about them too is they'll bill us after. So if I have 10 people take a training in a month, then, you know, the other ones I looked into, you had to commit to 40 people or 500 people based, and then the pricing was adjusted. But there's no way I could do that. As you can see, is how many people showed up to the other training. So that's going to be really good. The training, I did review it. It looks great. And so, yeah, working on that. And then NeoGov, just still building out courses, getting that prepared to roll out to staff. So that's going well.
Awesome. Any questions?
No, sounds good.
All right,
Well, that's all I have today.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Tracy, is this your last time doing this? budget
Sounds
report?
good. Sounds great. Yes, please. I think I'm in it for the long haul. Not that Kathy can't do it, but I did commit to the board that I would make sure that the office was up and running. So my commitment is legit. We were notified that we are receiving $3.7 million with opioid settlement. We're working with David Berger from the prosecuting attorney's office to get all of our ducks in a row for what we need to do. I do know that there's some inbox stuff, I think, that hit your inbox maybe
I
for
was
some paperwork.
told that they need a signature from me in
And
some kind of.
Should be a
portal, but I
DocuSign type signature and an
haven't seen
email.
it. I haven't checked this morning, but I didn't see it last week.
Okay, should have,
So I don't know if
been-
it's coming to me or
it should be
what
here
to
by
look
now.
for. So
It should be here by now. And so we'll try to get you the information.
I think we have until the 18th to get the final sign up for those.
Yes,
So we had
But-
signed up for one settlement
we
months
did.
ago.
We did.
And since that time, what looks like a bunch of the pharmacies, Walgreens
Yep.
and Rite Aid, they've all settled, which just adds to the money. So
Correct.
we want to make sure we get that, and of course, we have to figure out the plan. So
We don't know exactly what we can use the monies for yet. I think
Correct.
probably between Marin and our juvenile and the Health and Human Services, I think we'll probably much exhaust all the money and then some. So
we on Friday, I met with the Great Rivers
Mhm.
Behavioral Health Board, and they are going to offer to serve as the oversight council.
no,
The law mentions the accountable communities of health, which have no county commissioners on that board, and it's focused in Thurston and Mason
Right.
County. So BHOs are eligible to offer that service. So the 5 counties that form the Great Rivers will make that offer. And how that just guarantees a little more direct control for recovering the costs that it required to deal with people who were addicted after the companies promised it was safe. Made a fortune. So they're sharing a bit of their fortune back
Right.
with us.
So I know we did apply for the funding, so it's just a matter of the DocuSign documents. So we'll watch for those. And we'll see what kind of email they come in. We were told they were already delivered to the counties. So that's what we need to
Okay.
make sure we don't miss them.
We know it's coming, but we don't know all the rules yet.
It's kind of like the ARPA funding. We know we're receiving a certain amount of money, and this one it was like 3,703,000 some odd dollars. So 3.7 million.
So I think your recommendation or David's recommendation is a new account being set up.
And that's what we're
Because
working
those are
on. Yep.
restricted funds for.
Yep. And so that's the segue into our next bullet is we are doing a budget amendment to make sure we have to establish a new budget and a new fund. So we have the paperwork ready to go, but we need to do a formal process in front of the board. And since we're doing that, we're going to open it up to any county or county department needs a
Okay,
budget.
that's a little
amendment.
earlier than you expected.
A little bit
right?
earlier. I
Yeah,
thought it'd be
okay, 'cause
May
I know
into
there were
June.
Some departments that are ready for some
Yep.
addition.
But with that money, I'd like to get it accounted for and get the funds set up and ready to go. So,
The thing that I remember from the original settlement was there was an annual allotment over a whole bunch of years. So what looked like a whole bunch of money wasn't a whole lot of money.
right,
But in this latest iteration from David,
it's all at once.
I got the
Mhm.
sense it was all coming at once. So I'm
Yes.
not exactly sure.
I think it is coming all at once now. And so we just need to have our end ready to go when we do get it deposited. So,
Mhm.
yep. So we have, Kathy sent the email out this morning to anyone who needs budget amendments. So, and we're going to do a quick turnaround for March 28th.
So one of the questions that I have about that fund, and if you've
Mhm.
done a little more research on what we can spend the money on, I would be a little bit interested in using that money since it's limited in duration, it's going to run out. So we might want to look at some capital improvements that fit the bill in terms of
One-time use. Yeah.
one-time use, I think. Particularly if we can do a better job of providing for drug court location. I know their offices are not ideal. That building is in kind of bad shape. But so anyway, we'll be want to talk about that a little bit more, what the best use of that money is.
Well, and we have OPD who's leasing a building too, for a little bit farther down the street. So we have some.
That
Things we need to
obviously
look at.
could be part of that too, since a lot of the OPD is
Their clients.
the
Yep.
clients that have gotten caught up in that addiction.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I'm assuming when you know the rules, we'll get a copy of those.
Yeah, it'll be distributed to all the counties, and then David Berger's been fantastic with our PA's office,
Working on
getting
it.
us the information, yep, and getting us the information, as well as he's looking at what we can and can't use the money. There's just not a lot of guidance out there yet, but as soon as it comes, we'll present it to the board,
Thank you.
of course.
Perfect.
Do you have anything you want to add?
Little bit of good news.
Anything else? Huh?
That's a little bit of
That's
good
great news.
Yeah.
Free
absolutely.
millions of dollars is a fantastic, it's just a little paperwork, but that's okay. We'll take it. We're always in for revenue.
And how's the crash course on Washington state government going?
Fantastic on our end with her, yes.
All right. Well, let us know if you have any questions or anything, and yeah, we can.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have any.
All right. Cool. We're in.
Good morning.
Morning.
I apologize for my voice. I am better, I swear. I'm Marin Fox, Director of Corrections. I wanted to give a brief update on the population. As I said at a meeting on Friday, I've given up on predicting. I have no idea. We're at 214 today. We were 250 plus in the middle of February. So nothing has changed as far as booking restrictions go, but our releases are outpacing our bookings.
Hmm.
So this month, we're doing an average of 15 bookings a day with 17 releases. So that would be why our bookings have not dropped off. The releases have increased.
So is there an increase in the number of trials being held and cases being settled out of court, or?
I haven't drilled
Just
down,
roaming
but
the streets.
anecdotally, yes,
They're
we're
just
definitely
roaming the
having more
streets. Okay.
things are going to trial.
Mhm.
It does feel like more people are being sentenced. The prison is doing transfers weekly. They had switched to biweekly during COVID, and they January 1 went back to a weekly pickup. So
Okay.
all of those things kind of will continue. We'll see a decrease, but typically this is a lower time as far as
Right.
bookings go.
I had a short conversation with the prosecuting attorney, and he mentioned that it was in relation to some of the questions that were asked in our meetings about drug court. And he
Right.
said, no, the numbers are up back in drug court, and
Mhm.
and they've worked out different strategies to get around the law that was ruled unconstitutional. So numbers are back up,
Yep. And if
which
the law,
makes it, it just opens up more spaces.
right, if the law passes, that would make drug possession a gross misdemeanor, a bookable offense, that could really we will see a big increase in bookings if that goes through, which I
Of course,
anticipate it might.
it's the felony convict or the felony charge that qualifies for the drug court.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so.
And then I wanted to give an update on our hiring. We're budgeted for 42 COs. We were at 44. We eliminated 2 positions during COVID. We currently have 5 positions open with 1 person closer in the background process, and we actually have him working as a temp, so that we're kind of at 4. We just had an officer graduate from the academy, so he's working, and we have 2 officers that passed FDO training, are working, but have to go to the academy still. So we're just awaiting that.
So the one who's on temp,
Mhm.
when he gets it fully approved, does he get back pay then from when he starts, or?
No, we bring him on as a temp, like an extra help employee. And then
Sure.
as we were putting him through background, and then he'll just transfer into a full-time position
Okay.
once he passes everything.
That'll put you back up higher
Four.
than you've been for a while.
Yeah, higher than I've been for a while. At the academy, I was talking to some other agencies. I believe Lewis County, they're very similar, but a little bit smaller, and they're down 6 with 2 more leaving. So I guess misery loves company. We're doing slightly better than most agencies, actually.
All right.
And I wanted to give some information. We have all staff training built into our schedule. In September of this year, we're going to be bringing in a group from a company called Deer Hollow. It's going to be called Tactical Trauma. It's focused on PTSD, PTSI, and officer wellness.
Oh,
So it's a 4-hour training on 2 different dates at the end of September. It will be open to other agencies as well. So we're excited that they've
Great.
agreed to do it. We pay their travel costs. They don't charge anything for the actual training, and it's free to the attendees. And they encourage family members to go as well.
Wow.
And that is all I have.
And that training takes place at the jail or?
We're going to do at the Expo Center.
Expo Center. Okay, great. Super.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Can commissioners go? We have meetings. Trauma. Good morning.
Good morning. I don't know, this is my first executive session that we'll need to address with Doug Jensen.
Okay, all
So
right.
that's where that one came from.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just an update from IT. I'm Kim Hort, the IT director. I just wanted to address some of the projects that we're working on. The Peoplesoft team has built the interface into Victoria's NeoGov platform. So a lot of that customization has been completed. We're just kind of getting the sign off from HR and risk to make sure everything looks good. IT is deploying a new email add-on. It's called Fisher, which will allow users to click a button if they feel that an email looks suspicious. Email is our highest vulnerability and kind of our the gateway for malware. And so it's a tool that we're deploying. We're in the early stages, but essentially it pushes the email to an AI process that will scan it and then return it into your inbox if it's clean. And if it's not, then it will notify the IT team to update our policies so we can make sure that we kind of tighten our email gateway. So tighten our security along with pulling it from other inboxes.
Mhm.
So it's going to make us more efficient. And then it's also going to encourage our users to be even more cautious and click the button, because clicking a button is pretty easy. The part that's nice is that it takes at most of 15 minutes. I think we haven't fully tested it for it to come back. So last week I completed a Homeland Security grant. I requested $1.68 million in projects for IT infrastructure. Ernie Schnabler from DEM, introduced me to the grant opportunity. So we submitted that late last week. So I hope to bring back some numbers for you guys.
And that would benefit us how?
It's IT infrastructure. So I put in things like our phone replacement project. Another topic was additional licensing for Microsoft. For our current licensing, we don't have a lot of data management. So I'm looking at some additional security modules that would protect the county and our data from being on the cloud now. The other thing that we're vulnerable in is our offsite backups. So developing a procedure and planning an infrastructure for that. So.
Great.
We have 3 positions open in IT and we're reviewing the applicants thus far. So hopefully we'll schedule interviews next week and close up those open positions. I am working on updating IT internal policies, such as items addressed by our state auditors on some exit items, inventory management, standardizing our processes. So just kind of busy paperwork and fun stuff on my end. And that's all I had to report.
So several weeks ago, you mentioned to us that you had attended a broadband meeting and were pretty excited about the possibilities of expanding broadband
Yes.
in the county.
Mhm.
And can you give us an update on where we might be on that, or?
So I actually was focused on grant writing last week that I missed the broadband meeting, so I can't give the latest update. What it is it's federal funding to get internet out to rural communities that don't have proper coverage, or, carriers say that there's coverage out there, but the broadband initiative is to identify those locations and get internet to our community. And the latest update is we're working on finalizing our application. So we're kind of going through a very thorough process of filling that paperwork out.
Okay. And you're working with Patrick in utilities?
Patrick over in Public Works. I'm also working with COG. There's Bill Fashings and Monica, I can't recall her last name.
Seidel?
Yes. She's out of the country, I believe through this week, but we're going to hit the ground running next week to
Excuse me.
see where we're at on it. But that's the latest update. I'm a little bit behind on what last week's events
Okay.
were.
So. And if we need to make some kind of a policy decision, if we need somebody to be assigned officially, then, let us know if that designation needs.
Absolutely.
So,
I think it's a great opportunity and I appreciate your encouragement.
all right. Any other questions?
No.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other miscellaneous items that need to be brought to our attention before we go into executive session? So we are going to go into executive session to deal with potential litigation. And we're going to have a new process today. Do we have to move? So we'll move into the back room, but okay. And so Kim, about 15 minutes. So folks who have are zooming in for this meeting, we're going to be taking a recess for the executive session. Be back in about 15 minutes, or we'll let you know if we need additional time. So with that, meeting is in recess. We have returned from our executive session. No action was taken. Is there anything else to be brought to our attention, either from the public or anyone online? Anything else? All right, hearing from nobody online. There's nobody here in the audience. We will adjourn this meeting. We'll be back in session at 11 o'clock for our Public Service Department staff meeting. Thank you.